To the left, Pellegrini. Inside, Pizarro Golazo. Pizarro Golazo. Here's the goal scorer, Morgan. And he's done it again. Lewis Morgan with his second of the match. Higuain will have the goal. He's framed the top 90. It's a sensational first goal for Gonzalo Higuain.
Bro, for the last time, and then we're not having this conversation again, rabbits cannot lay eggs. You need to understand that and move on.
Why not?
Okay? It's not how they work.
It's not how it works.
It's not how they work. But just like 6 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus, we too have risen on this beautiful Easter Sunday. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Inter Miami podcast. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Easter Sunday. If you don't celebrate it, I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday regardless.
It's hard not to with weather like this outside.
It is very hard to not enjoy this. This is the ideal weather, but it's not going to last long. It's going to heat back up here very, very soon. What's up, though? I'm Jay Kington alongside, as always, Mr. Alex Papa George. We're the Inter Miami podcast, and we have a bit of an action-packed show for everybody today. Why don't you kind of give them a breakdown of what we're going to talk about?
Oh man, Jay, you just bring a smile to my face every single time, bud. But no, it's funny. We were talking about this, but we were looking at some of the match times coming up, and whew, we got some hot ones. We got a couple games starting at 3:00 in the afternoon. So do bring your sunscreen.
Yeah, it's going to get sweaty for sure. Our home opener is going to be at 3. The next game against the next home game rather against Atlanta is going to be at 1, and then the home game after that against Montreal, TBD. So who knows? Someone needs to be nice. We need like a 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. kickoff. It's gonna be fun though.
Jay, do you burn easily? I feel like you do.
I am from the I don't know if whiter is the appropriate politically correct term, but the areas of Europe where less melanin is in your skin. So yeah, I can last about an hour out there, but I'm gonna need sunscreen for anything longer than that.
Definitely. So if someone hasn't done so, a great idea would be to sell like mini sun umbrellas, with like the logo of the team or maybe a supporters group, go ahead and take that.
Like an umbrella hat.
Yeah, like an umbrella hat.
Yeah. And I'll get you the hat that has a little propeller on it.
Yeah, dude. Nothing gets by this, dude. Nothing gets by this.
We'll be great. We do have 3 home games which season ticket holders could buy tickets to. So that's the good news. We do have bad news, though, which is we have 3 preseason games that were canceled. We're going to talk about our first loss to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Of course, the schedule for the 2021 season came out. We will be doing a kind of preview of that with Mr. Max Ramos, president of the Siege, later on. And then we have a ticketing structure for the first 3 games. We have a couple new player signings and everything else that we missed.
Everything else that we missed, Jay just ran over the rundown for this episode. Super cool. We're going to break it down into 2 episodes just because there is a bit of content to talk about. So we will be dropping the season preview with a deep dive about expectations, about 5 games that we are really interested in, which leads to 5 teams that we're going to play quite a few times over the course of this 2021 season. But first and foremost, Jay, biggest news to come out of Inter Miami camp was the fact that games were canceled, but we got to slow down there a little bit, bud. There was a game that was not canceled, and I think I can speak for everyone in saying that I wish it was canceled. But we did have a match against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and it did not go that well. We took our first L of the season, that being the preseason, and I guess listen, I guess at the end of the day, the best way to look at it is at least we got it out of the way, right? Hey, taking a 1-0 loss is never good, but kind of was emphasized with it being from a USL club. So
that one hurts. That one stings for sure.
Yeah, man. And this was this kind of hit a little bit home just because last year, you and I went up to the game and, I was kind of visualizing ourselves, not just tailgating it up with 3.5 of us, but seeing the game actually live was the first time seeing the club really play together. So bummer.
Yeah, definitely a bummer. I can tell you the major difference between that game we went to and this one was that there was no Pizarro because he was over on international duty. Gregor wasn't with the team either. So I don't know what squad they really came out with. It's very hard when you can't really get a lot of information because they're all closed door.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. We got a lot of messages. It seemed like our frustration was felt around the entire Inter Miami community, but the idea of not streaming the game's one thing, but to not really even share stats is kind of just on a whole nother level. So good news mixed with this is that it's not an Inter Miami thing. This isn't like a club related policy or anything like that they built up with the Rowdies. This is across the board of MLS. And in my opinion, Jay, this is something that should and has to change.
It definitely should. I mean, you look at the NFL, and although nobody really cares that much about preseason game, everyone wants the regular season games. I mean, those first 4 weeks of NFL preseason are very watched because people have just been starving for football. Totally. I don't know why the MLS doesn't do something similar, have most of these things televised. I'm not sure if they're trying to protect the teams or the players, but yeah, it's very, very strange, and it is frustrating. That's a good word because you want to see your squad. You want to see the improvements or, what this team this year will look like. And then, of course, no one wants to lose, period. But then when you lose to a USL, which is, quote unquote, a minor league team compared to the MLS, that's just extra salt in the wound.
It is. I mean, 1-0, like you said, we were down a couple players, and the question mark, how much of our star and starting 11 did contribute to this, but I guess simple minds, just like myself and Jay, would lead us to believe that hopefully this was a period that the Higuains and the Lewis Morgans of the world weren't getting full 70, 80 minutes out there on the pitch, and kind of pass the ball to some of these younger folks and see how they're looking, especially looking at Robbie and Dylan. Robbie's kind of been one person that we've kicked back up this podcast that we haven't really talked about, but the dude is a number 1 overall draft pick, and just sitting there with Daryl DK and all the success that's came off of his back it's kind of a glaring, just what's the right word? What's the opposite of an award? Like almost like is a merit the right word? Is that a positive thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know what you're trying to say. It is especially tough with like DK's buyout clause being like 20 million with
merit is actually a positive thing.
Okay,
so
there
it is
you go.
The opposite.
So the opposite of merit. I don't know what that word is either. It's been a long week, and you're trying to make me fire up some areas of the brain that don't function all the time. But so here's the thing. Maybe it's like the NFL preseason where you see the starters for like 1 series or something, maybe 2 series, and then they're obviously going to have to go through all the roster cuts. So you wanted to see what the other players have. I'm hoping that was the case, that we were getting some of the people who probably won't be in the starting lineup, but just to see where they are, make an assessment. I really hope that's the case, because the alternative is really that you just lost to a USL team with your starters.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it seemed like the team will still have pretty positive vibes, and from all inclinations and all word that we're getting from inside the club has been what a entire remake that Phil Neville has had in this entire organization, and just the impact that David Beckham has had, and Chris joining us from the Seattle Sounders has really just seemed like this entire team and organization has been flipped upside down for the positive.
Yeah, it has. And then fast forward a few days later, and I was, all right, whatever. Let's get the loss out of the way. Let's move on. Let's stay positive. Let's try and get some wins. We did have some other games that were coming up, and then right before kickoff, they not only canceled the game against the Charleston Battery, but they canceled the 2 other games after that. And there is one more preseason game that was TBD, so technically it's not canceled, but I don't even know if it will get scheduled. They might just wash that as well, and then we're not the only MLS team that has had a series of preseason matches canceled. It seems to be a league-wide thing that's going on. We don't know. Was it, they said health concerns. I don't know if that was COVID. I don't know if it was too humid or the conditions of the pitch weren't well. It's frustrating when you can't find information. They've been very closed door, closed mouth about this entire situation.
Yeah. Obviously understandable why to the situation that we are in, but let's really hope that this isn't foreshadowing of this season upcoming. Let's really hope not, but let's just hope that we're getting out this jitters and the COVID kind of struggles out of the way early. I do believe too that no, it wasn't them. They still need to get vaccinated as a team as well.
Yeah. So that's another interesting thing is hasn't really been an initiative on vaccinating the team or anything like that, whether it come from the club or the MLS. You would think the most logical solution to all this would just have everyone get vaccinated.
I mean, I guess the only counter that I can come at you with is don't let professional athletes jump in front of the average Joe like you and I. But I got to be honest with you, Jay. I got the shot.
Yeah, someone got vaccinated, and looked like you broke your collarbone. You kind of, the arm's hanging low, man.
Listen, man, I can tell you one thing.
And there's that foot growing out of your shoulder, so I don't know.
We'll ignore that. It's small right now. But no, I mean, no, I did get the shot. I got Moderna, and honestly, my arm feels like it's been dislodged for the last 48 hours. So
now, did you specifically pick Moderna because you have been very vocal about them for the past year?
Listen, I guess as full transparency, I do own shares of Moderna.
Yeah, was that an investment, kind of like you're supporting your investment?
But no, I do support Moderna for obvious reasons that Jay just mentioned. But no, I guess the whole idea of being in like sub 800 degrees for the Pfizer just wasn't exactly, piquing my interest as much. And honestly, it was just what they had. So I sat down. The guy, I actually got the shot over by like where the milk was. So like they have it set up right outside of like the pharmacy area. And you literally just sit down. The guy reaches over, not that big of a needle in itself, but man, that thing packs a punch.
And it was the butchers that came out and administered it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this wasn't a pharmacist.
No, this is some random person.
No, but get back to Inter Miami World. We don't know if this was a player on the team, a coach on the team, a water boy on the team who contracted COVID.
Or was it the Higuain brothers again?
You just won't let that go.
But it sucks because, obviously I would be less worried if it was only the Charleston Battery game, but we could really use the preseason games against the Red Bulls as well as Nashville SC, because that's the competition we're going to be playing throughout the regular season. So we've discussed that preseason is pretty crucial. I know some players don't like it. Some teams might not be that big on it, but a lot of people think that it is a very critical start of the season to really gauge where you are from your chemistry, talent level, any tactical changes that should be made. I mean, this is kind of where you get your best information from before the games start to count.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Jay. And we talked about it on the last pod too. The off season and the preseason for us was damn near as most important as any club in the entire league, right up there with the Austins of the world being an expansion club this year, because we didn't have the typical off season that any club does, because we were an expansion club last year that was hit by COVID. Mm-hmm. And it's super difficult to develop chemistry when you keep getting hit with these hurdles that are unexpected. So the more time the team can play outside top tier level talent, like these other MLS clubs, and have them be before the games start counting, I'm in all support of that. So these games were canceled by, I quote, out of an abundance of caution for the health and safety of players and staff. So again, that's pretty vague. Someone could have COVID, someone couldn't have had COVID. Maybe someone was a part of like a contact tracing protocol that led back to the team. There's a lot of situations that can kind of go, which brings us back to our main point, which is just get the vaccine. We're cool with it. We're regular. We are cool with you guys getting the vaccine and jumping the line. That's fine.
Well, yeah, and you just leave the door open for all types of speculation when you're not giving any really specific details. It's like when your girlfriend in high school broke up with you and you never got the closure, and that's why you're like so damaged as an adult now.
Whoa!
You coming at me right now?
Trying to confess something to me right now, bro?
No, but it's tough, and of course, the MLS is one of the few leagues that really doesn't even care about the FIFA international windows like almost every single European league does. So even going through these preseason matches, I think we had 6 players in total going to represent their countries. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, Pizarro's been gone. Gregor is actually now practicing with the squad as recent as a couple of days ago, which is good. Leardham's there now as well. I'm sure everyone knows him. That acquisition happened right after our last episode, so we will cover that briefly. But people are coming back in, and we're 2 weeks away, buddy. That's a good thing because we're excited. That's a scary thing because, again, we were just without significant players that we need for weeks. So the MLS doesn't make anything easier. If you're an Inter Miami fan, you're used to the hardships and the adversity. We'll just continue working through them. But hey, we're almost there. Let's go. I'm just trying to stay positive. We got Champions League coming up this week. And then we'll find something to do next weekend to stay busy. And then the week after that, baby, we are back. We are getting the home game that we always wanted, that we were supposed to have last year before it got rescheduled. I'm talking about LA Galaxy. And the reason we know that is because the schedule has been released for the 2021 season.
Yes, it has, sir. And man, we Jay and I work together. We've been talking about this for the last few months, it seems, but the time is almost here. We are recording this podcast on Sunday, April 4th, and that is officially 2 weeks from kickoff, which is exciting. Jay, that game is at 3:00 too in the afternoon against the LA Galaxy, right?
It's going to give plenty of time to get your body all lubed up before.
We're getting ready for the second half right now, too. You know what that means. Heineken tent for sure. Yeah, but we're going to dive in more on a granular level with Max on our season preview show coming up shortly. But Jay, I got to ask, just for the hell of it, what game in your world do you have your eye on the most looking at the schedule right now?
I mean, I'm going to do the thing where you hate it because you asked me one question, then I actually give you like multiple answers. So I'm sorry, but the one I'm most excited about is LA Galaxy. This was the home opener we were supposed to have last year, which was canceled 48 hours before the game and really 48 hours before all of our lives changed. Right. Due to the COVID pandemic. I mean, those were times we were smiling, we were happy, we were out.
No idea what
we
was
weren't
about
wearing masks. Yeah, we had no idea what was about to happen. So I'm actually really excited that that's going to be this year's home opener as well. An additional reason that I'm excited is because it is one of the two teams that we're going to play from the Western Conference. So everyone on this schedule we've played before. We have some sort of understanding. But really the only teams we're playing from the West are going to be LA Galaxy in the Timber. So my official answer is LA Galaxy. But the other one that I'm really excited about is, of course, going up against the MLS Cup winners, and I'm talking about the Columbus Crew. I mean, a stacked team through and through. This will be a really good measure of our team right here, and it gets to come basically like at the halfway point through the season, maybe just slightly thereafter, but this should be a good game. We should be firing on all cylinders. We should have, Higuain, Pizarro, Pellegrini, Gregor, all very comfortable. Matuidi, like we should be able to have the chemistry of all of our stars that we've acquired. So those would be the two that I'm watching. But if I'm going to flip this question back at you, what would yours be?
I think for me personally, I think you were spot on with the LA Galaxy for obvious reasons. I think it's almost poetic justice, if I can say such, that we are playing the Galaxy this year. It's just kind of, I'm sure they thought of the scheduling and it just wasn't, hey, picking a name out of the hat and saying there's 27 teams and we just happened to land on the Galaxy. I think that was a true metaphoric fashion right there. But to answer your question, sir, there is no other match that I'm most fired up for this year than all the matches against Orlando City, man. Like, especially after last year when maybe the season wasn't as impressive as we thought it would be, but we showed up every single time against Orlando City. And not only did we show up on the field, but we showed up in the fans, in the stands, if you know what I'm saying. So
we had to beat them to get into the playoffs or the play-in round, rather.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I mean, we ran the awards for last season, and one of the nominees was LGP's header to beat Orlando City. So we play them pretty well. They will be DK-less in this upcoming season as he's out for loan, which, gosh, damn, that just still hurts. But they will have Mueller. They will have an entire team back. They'll have
Alex Pato.
Alexander Pato is back. So they're going to be
that's their new acquisition. So that's going to be interesting is how he can play in this league, because kind of hate or love type of person. He was great earlier in his career with AC Milan, kind of faded out a little bit there. He actually went over to the Chinese like Super League because they were able to pay just gross amounts, but they ended that. So a lot of the stars are leaving there. But yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting because we lost twice and then we won twice, right? So we lost and the MLS Cup is back. We actually beat them for our, I guess, quote unquote, first home opener. And then we traveled up to the third game, which, Sweat got injured like right away. Breck was able to get a goal in that game, but we ultimately did lose that game. And then, of course, we beat them at the end of the season to get into the play-in round. So, yeah, that first game is going to be good because that's kind of like the tiebreaker, right? We each have 2 wins, and we'll see what's going on. And then also something to keep note of is right after that, right, or after the LA Galaxy game, rather, is we have to go up against the MLS Supporters Shield winners in Philadelphia Union. So it's kind of starting off with a bang. Like it's gonna move quick, and then we get a little easier towards the end of the schedule, but. Hey, we're here, man. We have been patient. We have been waiting, and we are almost there. Don't look at it. It'll be here.
Yep. No, don't blink. Don't blink. But yeah, the first match against Orlando City is on June 25th, which is a Friday, which is gonna be rowdy. And the way that this stadium's going, man,
that's got to be a night game.
We might have a full crowd at this game.
Friday at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
that's gonna be good.
Going down, dude. So that's gonna be our first match against Orlando. We play them 3 times this year. So yeah, get your popcorn, get your tickets. We're gonna talk about the tickets coming up. Don't you worry, everybody. Put your pants back on. But yeah, that was definitely the game that I am most excited to see. And beyond that, I'm just glad we filled 3 games in that 22-day break between Philadelphia and Cincy in the beginning, which was looking kind of puzzled. I don't even know why they did it that, but I'm sure they had their reasons. But yeah, get with your sales folks. I know the reps get a little bad of a reputation around here, where it is that they're in line, they're ready to answer all your questions. Do reach out to your sales rep about your tickets. But we do have a ticket update.
Just one more thing that is going to be a hell of a time for us, buddy, is we're going to have 3 games in a 10-day period, July 21st, 3 home games, rather, July 21st, July 25th, and July 31st. My birthday's going to be sprinkled in there somewhere. We're going to have a blast at that. That's going to be a fun time to be down here. But yeah, we do have a ticket update. So last update really was that they're looking at upwards of anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000 as far as attendance, fans in attendance there. Now, the priority will be given to season ticket holders. Once those are all gobbled up, anything left over will go to the general public. And that's only going to be for the first 3 games. We have already secured our tickets to those 3 games. But after that, on that 4th home game, apparently, and I'm saying apparently because I'm still not sure how this is going to work out, but they're going to say they're going to be going to full capacity of 18,000 for that 4th home game. So keep your eye on that. That'll be, I don't know. I don't want to say it's irresponsible, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I know it'd be awesome to be able to have 18,000 fans in there yelling their heads off, supporting that team and finally getting that full effect we've been looking for, but we'll see what happens.
This is Florida.
This is, hey, if you're looking for a state where crazy stuff that probably is ill-advised happens on a daily basis, we're your state. Let me tell you, we got you covered.
Oh man, well, you're absolutely right. This is still nothing's official. Nothing's official. But it is that was definitely passed down that this is something that we are looking to potentially do. So we will see. As Jay said, the priority will be for season ticket holders and supporters groups, which, realistically they all have, pretty much season tickets anyway. So games are broken down really into 3, I guess, $25 credits, if you may. You can either buy use all of your credits for one game, or you can spread them out over across the 3 matches that are originally announced.
Well, so ticket prices change depending on where you're sitting. Now, I've already told you this. It was a little frustrating dealing with the Ticketmaster technology. There were tickets on the East and West stands that I saw anywhere from really like 35, 45, 55. I think I even saw some at like 100. They're probably very close. But those weren't populating when I was trying to secure our tickets. So we ended up going to the supporters section, which we have no issues with. They're, we get down with the boys all the time. Those tickets were $25, and yeah, you could use credits, but I tried to do it, and it gave me an error message. So it was just like, this technology isn't working. We'll pay out of pocket. We'll remain full credits for, I guess, whenever they get that resolved, or just for the following season.
Call tech partners, dude. Anyway, we're gonna push past that one, but no, I mean, if you're having difficulty, you're not alone. We get it. Unfortunately, we cannot help. So stop asking us to help, because we have no power over helping you.
Yeah, if we could we would. I mean, the club's aware. Many people have been vocal about it. It was frustrating, but at the end of the day, I'm happy. We got tickets. Like, who cares? Like,
we got tickets. We're gonna be there.
Yeah, dude,
the drone's charged up, ready to go.
Yeah, if you look over at me at like the 10-minute mark, when I'm probably several Heinekens deep and smiling ear to ear, and you're gonna say, "Hey, you still upset about the technology?" No, I'm not gonna care.
No, but realistically, dude, I kind of blame you the fact that we didn't stream this Tampa Bay Rowdies game. I had a perfect plan, and I had
to go on a bachelor party.
You didn't support it.
You were supposed to go there with your drone.
I needed a navigator.
What? No.
Take two. There's literally 2 turns to this thing, but no, maybe next time, but probably not. But anyway, Jay, you know how much parking is this year?
So if I recall correctly, they had like $25 option, $30 option, and it was either like a $40 or $45 option, depending on where you want to park, how close it is, whatever. Like, that doesn't really affect us.
Yeah,
we live so close to the stadium, like we could literally walk there or Uber there, honestly.
But that brings up a bigger problem.
Of what?
Tailgates.
Yeah, so tailgate. So that's tough, because they're definitely not going to want to promote that. I don't know. They might even crack down on that just as a safety protocol for COVID.
So you're going to let 18,000 people into the stands and we can't tailgate due to safety protocol?
Dude, it's like you go to a restaurant, you got to wear your mask, walk into your table, but you just take it off. Half these protocols don't even really logically make sense, but for some reason, here we are in 2021 living in the movie Idiocracy. I mean, it is what it is.
It comes back to this, the common theme of this podcast. Just, it's okay if the team gets tested, or I'm not.
It's okay if
it gets the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
Like, but no. So it will be anywhere between 25 to, I don't know, Jay. It sounds like $40 ish or so, depending on where you want to park. So if you can, Uber. If not, go ahead and park over by the stadium. But
yeah, well, the Bright Line's not running right now, but I'm pretty sure the Tri-Rail is. So if you are in Miami or if you are in West Palm, you could just take that, and the station's not far from the stadium. Just do that, Uber on over. Probably save you.
No matter what you do.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Especially for the home opener, because I'm sure there's a lot of good Christians out there that are going to behave themselves, but the supporters stand is going to be rowdy as ever. So be responsible. Don't do anything stupid. I think we covered our end legally speaking on that.
I agree. I think we're good. We can move on now. But
the attorney gave me a thumbs up. We're good.
All right, solid. But okay, cool. Well, we got 2 new player signings. And Jay, I gotta say, you've been excited to talk about the first one here, bud.
I'm actually I unknowingly made a beautiful post about how we're picking Sounders left and right, and we have one right here, and we were talking about Mr. Kelvin Leardam. That might have been very loud. Let me drop that down. It's okay. I'm sorry if we blew your eardrums out, but now he's got his own soundboard effort. Okay, so anyway, another ex-Sounders player, Mr. Chris Henderson, has decided to bring over, between Kelvin, who plays as right back, and Jovan Jones, who plays as left back. We now have a pretty legit looking defense. I think that these two in particular, outside of their abilities, right? Because they're a little older, but Kelvin's 30, but they bring leadership. And that's what we need, right? We need to be able to maintain that back line. So I really like this overhaul. He's been around in the league. He's played with Seattle from 2017 to 2020. Prior to that, he was at Vitesse and Feyenoord, which is actually where our other quote-unquote signing that we want to discuss after this will be coming for him. But played for the Netherlands. He's actually from Suriname as well. He made the switch over, so he represents the Suriname national team. Right back, great addition. I think one of the biggest problems Phil Neville is going to have this season is finding out who his starting four on the back line are going to be. I assume Nico and I assume LGP will be able to maintain. But between Kelvin, between Jovan Jones, between Shawcross, between Gibbs, who will be coming in the summer, man, these are good problems to have, but they're still
Neelis, McCoon.
Oh yeah, Neelis, McCoon. Yeah, I mean, like that depth is there for sure. Would love to have seen someone else in the midfield, but I do have a lot of faith in Gregor. And then the only confusing really part of this, and before we get into the next one, which won't be coming until next summer, so it's not really going to count of this roster space, but we technically have 29 players on our roster, and the MLS roster is 30 players, right? And we really have 30 players. Well, I don't know actually really, because the only player that hasn't signed is Ame Mabika, who was our second round pick in the 2021 Super Draft. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're just seeing if he's going to play for Inter Miami, if he's going to play for Fort Lauderdale, or if they're just not going to sign him. It's very strange that he isn't signed. I don't know if he's being very picky with his agent, but once that does happen, we'll have 30. And if something happens where he's sent to Fort Lauderdale CF, we will have one other space for somebody, which could be the man you're about to talk about.
Yeah, super tricky. We'll see. Like Jay said, that is a player that we do not have under contract. Josh Penn is under contract, and your fellow Kentuckian is currently not. And honestly, the back line is probably our strength right now, so it's going to be a tough place to find a roster spot. Could be a Jerome Kiesewetter situation where
could
drop down play for USL.
I would hate to not see this guy. He's 6'6". He is big. He is athletic. I think he has a lot of potential, but maybe they need to develop him first, to your point.
Something like that, right? Coming out of the collegiate ranks. But this does bring us to our second signing, which, as Jay said, won't join us till the summertime, so it's still going to be a ways away. But in true Inter Miami podcast fashion, let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Nick Marsman to the club.
I have a feeling mine sounds so much better because it's going through the board, but whatever.
Yo, on the real though, when you did it, I really didn't mean to do it the first time. I was cracking up over here. Can't give me an inch, I'll take a mile. But Nick Marsman, welcome to the club. This news dropped pretty unexpectedly. It kind of hit us in midweek. We weren't expecting this. You know, the last news that we had out of the goalkeeping position was Drake getting bumped up to the U23 club, which was fantastic to get some experience under his belt.
Well, he's called up to training, but he didn't end up playing in the Olympic qualifiers, which we did not qualify yet again. But I think this is probably because there were some rumors that we had been in contact with Jan Oblak, who is the keeper for Atletico Madrid, and maybe something fell through for them to reach out to Marsman. I mean, it just adds to speculation that maybe they don't have faith in McCarthy. Am I the only person in this whole damn state that has faith in John McCarthy? Just have to
throw that up on the polls this week and just get a read from everybody.
You know, who knows? But we're coming in next summer, so we'll see what happens. I would imagine if McCarthy holds it down, I don't know if they've actually inked out the deal if it's more of a verbal agreement, but we'll see what happens. At about the same time, we'll be getting Kieran Gibbs, which would be a nice addition to have as well. But coming out of Feyenoord, which is in the Dutch league, but he played for some other teams. I'll probably butcher these names because that's what I do best. FC Utrecht, FC Twente, and Go Ahead Eagles. I don't even know what that is, but I like that team name. Go Ahead Eagles. That's the name. Click on these people.
I love it. I love it.
Dutch club playing in the Eerste Divisie.
Go Ahead Eagles. That is phenomenal. But yes, so we are going to keep an eye on what happens in that situation as time does unfold. But Jay, who knows, man? I don't think it's the fact that we don't think John is our guy. I think it's just the idea of having a plan B. And if we don't have a plan B ready to go, we could be facing some trouble.
I just don't understand it because where's the roster spot going to come from? Right. So either Bika's not signing and then he's there, or we sign Mabika, then we don't have an active roster spot for him. So then we're going to have to release somebody. So what's this look like? And just to add a little bit more of something to watch for is Enzo Zidane is now on trial with the team. And he's the son of one of the greatest midfielders to ever play the game. Probably easily to say the greatest French midfielder to play the game, but we're talking about Zinedine Zidane, who played with David Beckham at Real Madrid during the Galacticos era with an all-star, amazing squad over there. I mean, through and through, all-star talent all around there. I think this might be more of a kind of, this is David's relationship with Zidane. They are very, very, very close friends. And Enzo, Zidane's son, came up through the Real Madrid academy. I don't think he ever actually broke through to play on the, first team. And then he went to the lower divisions of the Spanish league. So, he's probably not going to be nearly as good as his father, but that's a very hard thing to do when you're considered one of the greats. But this is something also to keep your eye on. If this trial goes well, do we put him on Fort Lauderdale CF, let him develop, or does he come over on the first team for Inter Miami? And if that happens, who are we dropping?
It's a good question, sir, and only time will tell. But the good news is that time's telling pretty quick, man. Again, like we said, we are officially 2 weeks away from kickoff in the 2021 regular season, which is super, super exciting. But we're about to get out of here, about to wrap up the show. But before we do, Jay had a quick question for you, dude. There was a hot poll going on in Reddit this week, and I want to get your 2 cents because I actually haven't seen this part. But will Inter Miami, in your opinion, have a jersey sponsor prior to the 2021 season?
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. Not even like 99% sure, just 100% no chance.
After that whole Qatar situation, like there's been no news on that. Now we do have sponsors, but they're not going to be on the, like we're going to have Baptist Health on one sleeve. Trevento's there as well, but like who's going to take that spot? I have no idea. Ultimate Software, what are you guys doing?
I think even City Furniture signed on with the club as a sponsor this offseason too.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what would be rocking on the front of the kit, I wouldn't want City Furniture.
Seriously, do you have an issue with City
Publix.
Furniture?
I mean, like I don't want to
guy?
furniture. Like, come on, let's get something cool, man. It's like
the reality is we're still screwing up on our sponsor, and it's Cafe Bustelo. Like, I just
yeah,
don't know why
that
we're
really
messing
has to
around.
be the one. It has to be Cafe Bustelo. That's the only true South Florida beverage that's consumed by 95% of the people down here. I mean, it's the best coffee. If you're looking for that hardcore coffee kick, that's the way you go.
Well, sir, I can tell you that the social media Inter Miami world on Reddit absolutely agrees with you. There were 57 total votes casted, 8 of which said that Inter Miami will have a jersey sponsor, and 49 of which said that they will not have a jersey sponsor. So there you go, bud. You are in the majority on that.
Well, I feel good about that. Should I give myself some claps? I'll give myself some claps.
Well, claps for you, bud. Claps for you, bud. But
I'm not doing more claps. Sorry, that's too many claps. But yeah, so here we are, 2 weeks away. Let's go. In the meantime, we're trying to stay busy. We are actually hosting the first ever Inter Miami charity FIFA tournament. So if you're in the Facebook fan group, or you can look up the Inter Miami FIFA group as well. Just look on our socials. It's there with the links to view the pages. $10 buy-in. Every single penny is going to charity. It's for a good cause. We got 2 organizations. We have South Florida After School All-Stars, which is all about school programs, keeping kids active. Obviously helps out a lot of underprivileged children, as well as Vias Soccer, which is vertically integrated United States soccer, which is a cool kind of hybrid platform that provides scholarship to underprivileged children in South Florida to be able to play. Football gets a little expensive as you get older. So soccer, football gets expensive. So they help with these scholarships, basically everything outside of the travel costs, and also just trying to harness and get more talent from the youth level up to the U23 team, stuff of that nature.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it there. Join the FIFA tournament. And with that, it's about time we get on out of here.
That is a little bit of a catch up. We will be back. We're going to have, again, the season preview. And then we're going to do, obviously, a first home opener preview as well. But we'll go ahead and get all that going. So, yeah, if you don't already, follow us on social media at Inter Miami Podcast. If it's on Twitter, it's at InterMIA Podcast. Leave us a 5-star review if you're so inclined. We do appreciate it. It makes Alex smile, and he needs all the reasons to smile. Outside of that, click and subscribe. We got Pink Smoke dropping on the weekly. Than is going to be taking over for a season preview as well. I'm sure we will have our picks for this mapped out so we can make fun of each other towards the end of the season to see who's actually on top of it and who was way outside.
With that, we leave. And as always, vamos Miami.
Vamos Miami.